Good afternoon, my YouTube friends. So what do you mean you don't want to work in prison?
Do I have to work? Do I have to have a job in prison? Are they going to make me work?
Yes, you have to work. You lazy bum, get up.
Get up, you bum! Get up, you bum! Go to work!
You have to have a job. Camps are also known as work camps. There's some ways to get to not work. I'll tell you that in a few minutes. You gotta watch my little preaching on why you should work. I mean, you're gonna want to work, for one.
Can I just lay around all day and do nothing and watch TV and go work out? And
yes, you do that on your time off, your days off. You want to get out of work? I'll get into that for you lazy rich people out there. These doctors and lawyers that go to federal prison camps, they never have jobs. There's ways to get out. I'm going to get into that. But first, let's say you refuse to work, right?
I'm not going to work. Make me. What are they going to do?
You know what they're going to do? They're going to come and they're going to bring the guards from across the street at the medium or the penitentiary, and they're going to, we got a camper over here. He don't want to work today. Oh, do you? Do you? And all of the little penitentiary guards are going to be happy to come over and take this camper to the shoe. I seen it done. I seen a guy lay in his bed. I ain't going to work. Because we had a thing called lockdown. When the penitentiary gets locked down or the medium gets locked down, that's because these guys shake each other over everything, you know? And we have to go work across the street. I was at Florence, Colorado at the federal prison camp, which has a medium next to it and a penitentiary next to it and the ADX Supermax. So what happens is when these guys get on lockdown, the campers got to go over there. We gotta feed them. They're gonna have bologna sandwiches for at least 2 weeks for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Maybe they get a cereal, milk, and a banana in a bag for breakfast, and then bologna for lunch and bologna for dinner. After a few weeks, if they're calmed down, they might start giving them some hot food. But the campers go feed them. The campers got to empty the trash. We got to clean their hallways. We got to do their laundry. Yeah, all these guys that get locked down in these penitentiaries because they're fighting over, some $2 soup that somebody shanked each other because a white guy reached across a plate and grabbed a black guy's biscuit, and now everybody's, none of that happens in the camp, but we pay the price. We got to go over there and work. And so I saw a guy, 6 a.m., they call us to work. 50, 60 of us got to go over there work. Like a 12, 14-hour shift, man. It ain't fun. And I seen a guy, I ain't going. Well, they got a few guards from the penitentiary, and they came over there 5, 6 deep. And the guy's laying in his bunk. I don't care. I ain't going to work. And they're calling him on the loudspeaker. He ain't getting up. They came over there, and they pulled him out of his bed, and they shackled his hands and shackled his feet and carried him out of there and took him to the shoe, and we never saw him again. Yeah. Go ahead and refuse to work. Now, having said all that, that was an extreme case. Extreme case. That was the guy was refused. I had to fix my screen here. So, does it look like this at a camp? This is probably Lompoc or Sheridan. This background is from the movie Brubaker. And for my copyright infringement people that are watching my video. Everybody has to work at a camp, except there's some exceptions, guys. If you are 65 or older, you are retired. You don't have to work. If you wanted to, I'm sure they would give you a job. If you have medical reasons why you are unable to work. Now, my camp, I think we had 6 or 7 guys with one leg, and they still worked. Some of them did. Guys in wheelchairs, 500 pounds. That'll get you out of work, or it'll get you a desk job, a sit-down job. Here's the most probably oh, I don't know. This is the biggest excuse used. When you get to the prison camp, you're gonna see a medical doctor right when you get there. Usually your first day, and they're gonna give you a physical exam. And guys will say, "I got a bad back." Back injuries, back pain is almost hard to prove that you are lying about it. Okay, I mean they can do X-rays and this and that, but it's kind of the one thing the doctor has to take your word for. But he can give you sedimentary work, put it on your paperwork, and that means you get a desk, you sit a sit down job. You're not going to get a fancy desk or nothing. You're going to probably roll silverware, in the chow hall all day long with plastic fork and a plastic spoon. You're going to roll it in a napkin, and you're going to fill bus tubs up. You're going to do some kind of sit down work like that. You might be putting 2 bread slices in a plastic bag and you seal it, and they got plenty of those jobs for people. Now they do have the cushy desk jobs in the education department. There's 2 or 3 guys working on our back of our law library, and they're helping out the staff of the education department. There's guys that do that in the penitentiary. There was a couple guys that worked at the ADX Supermax. So every day I went over there, I did food service. So we had 2 guys that worked in the rec department, the education department, and the medical over at the ADX Supermax. There was other guys that did laundry there, and there's guys that were orderlies at the Supermax. But I remember these 2 guys, they did rec for the ADX Supermax. I'm all, what do you mean rec? They don't let El Chapo out of his cage, Unabomber. They don't get out of their cell. What do you mean rec? And he said, well, we come up with games for them. We do like trivia games on paper. We do bingo, little puzzle games, and we pass them out to everybody, and they play bingo with each other. Every day we send them 5 new bingo numbers. They mark it. If they win bingo, they give the paper back to the guard, and then we check it, and they get a prize, like a Snickers bar. They get a energy drink, an energy bar. They gave them real prizes, and so you got Unabomber, the Boston Bomber, the Oklahoma City Bomber. The one guy's alive, the other McVeigh's alive, and one of them's dead, one of them's alive. But the Oklahoma City Bomber, you got the Shoe Bomber, you got the Boston Bomber, they're all playing bingo. El Chapo's there now; he's probably joining in. And so yeah, they play bingo and all kinds of word search, and whoever trivia, whoever answers the questions right, and they turn the paper back into the guard. He brings them over to the guys in rec. They can just come up, and I go. We just sit around and we come up with ideas, and we keep these guys busy with activities. There was other things they did besides puzzles and that. I can't remember everything. So what a kickback job. Oh, there was a guy who was the librarian at the ADX Supermax. And so he'd, guys put in a request for a certain book, magazine, and he fills the card up, and the guards bring the books to the guys. But yeah, he was the librarian there. The medical orderly at the ADX Supermax, his job, he was only there for, I think, maybe an hour or 2, and he'd just go sweep them off the floors for the medical staff and empty their trash, and then come back home. And there's cush jobs like that. The guys that work in the education department, they got their own desk in the back, and they're helping guys out with their GED. There's re-entry classes you got to take, and these guys will hand you the packet and help you out with some of the paperwork you got to do when you first get to camp. And so there's some desk jobs. There's the guys that work in the hobby room, and they have their own desk, and they'll open up your locker for you and give you all your stuff so you can go make your paintings, your paper mache things. There's all kinds of hobbies. People work with leather, and they make. Hey, here's a good one to make some money. Get you a camp. If they have a leather workshop, you make saddles and you make purses. Saddles go for like $10,000. I think a guy was telling me he might have to spend $400 of his own money and order the leather. And the prison, the guy at the hobby, the staff member the guard who runs the hobby section they have a special catalog you order out of. He orders leather and he makes a saddle, and he said it might take him 2 months to make the saddle, and then he pays to have the saddle shipped home, and it's sold, and they sell it to to ranches and everybody that buys saddles in that whole field of saddle buying people. you know, ranches and farmers, and all kinds of people need saddles. They go for about 10 grand. It turns his $400 into 10 grand. Same thing with purses. They make these fancy purses, and they make saddlebags for motorcycles. That's another thing that people pay 5 grand for that. So if you want to make some money, that's a great hustle. You need startup money. You're gonna need it's gonna cost a lot to ship a saddle out of the camp, and you got to pay for that. And then you need $400 or $500 worth of leather. It might be more, and then you got to buy your tools and everything. But that's a good hustle. But I got a little sidetracked there. So there are some cushy kickback jobs. And here's the one that people kind of like and don't like. So there's 8 bathrooms in the building I lived at, and 8 bathrooms across the street. And every bathroom, there's 4 bathrooms on the top, 4 bathrooms on the bottom floor. Every bathroom has an assigned orderly. It might take you an hour or two to clean the bathroom. You gotta clean the toilets, clean the sinks, clean the showers out, hose it all down. And they don't pay you much. I think it's $16 a month. So the big shot doctor comes into the camp. Here's how you get out of a job, right? So if you don't find a job first, they will assign you a job. So he will go to let me see how this works again. So he will get the job as an orderly. I'm just trying to remember. He buys the job off the orderly. So trying to think of how to run this scam, how this works. So he goes to it. He finds there's an opening for an orderly. First, there's got to be an opening. Actually, you can buy the job. You can go to the orderly that's there and say, hey, if you quit your job, I will pay you $30 a month, and you go find another job, and you'll get $30 a month from me. And so basically, the guy goes and he quits his job, and he doesn't quit. He goes and finds a job somewhere else. Maybe he goes and works food service or something, washing dishes, which is really easy to switch jobs if you're doing good. And then he'll get the $40 a month from the doctor. Now the doctor's stuck with that job cleaning the bathroom, right? He just paid the guy $40 a month, right, to go find another job. Now he's got the orderly job. The doctor still doesn't want to clean the bathroom, so he finds another guy who wants to make a little money on the side, right? Or the same guy that just quit the job actually keeps it on the side, and the doctor pays him another $40 a month. So the doctor's going to pay somebody to do his job for him. So now the guy's making 80. If the same guy, usually what happens, I think. So the guy finds another job, and there's an opening. So the doctor goes and applies for the job because he hears there's an opening, and the case manager gives it to him. So now the doctor's paying him $40 a month because he gave him the job. He bought the job. Now he's paying him another $40 a month to do the work. Kind of works like that. You guys get the idea, right? You get the idea. I used to know the rundown by heart. It's almost 2 years I've been out of prison. I've been released from the halfway house a year and a half ago. I did 6 months in the halfway house. So my memory's starting to fade about prison. That's a good thing. Some things I will never, ever, ever forget. I'll never forget that I went to prison. Some of the little tiny things that go on, I will. So there are ways to get out of work, but there's jobs that you want to have, man. You don't want to. You think you want to sit around all day and do nothing, man. And there's only so much working out and walking the track and playing tennis, basketball, and softball, and volleyball, and all that stuff's great. Working out at the gym every day, but there's only so many. You're trying to pass time. You got years to do it, right? And a camp. 5 years is kind of the average. A lot of guys are getting 1 and 2 years now. I got 4 years and 4 months. Got out early with the RDAP and all that. As you guys know, if you've watched my videos, But you know, I didn't want to work when I first got there, but I was glad to work after a while, and it makes you feel. Men need to work, man. We need to feel useful. We need to feel like self worth. You know, when a man doesn't have a job, you guys know what I mean. When we're trying to, especially got a family support. I mean, just work in general. You know, when a man loses his job, it takes something away from us. You know, because we're used to being the breadwinners by nature. I know the world's changing. You got transgenders and and you know all that. I get it. I get it. But still, men have always kind of been the breadwinners and the workers. And when a man, and that's taken away from a man, you just don't feel. You know what I'm talking about, guys? All right. I know Bruce Jenner is not Bruce Jenner anymore. I grew up with him. He was on the Wheaties box. Now she is running for governor in California. The world changes. But what are you going to do? Uh, but you're going to want to work, guys. You're going to want to work. Now, most of the jobs are about 6 hours long, okay? Um, those bathroom jobs are 1 or 2 hours jobs. You might get a job cleaning the warden's office over at the penitentiary, and you're going to go empty his trash, and you're going to sweep and mop in his office there, and you're going to sweep him up the hallway, and then you go home. And 20 minutes, sometimes some of these guys, 20, 30 minutes, and they're back, and that's it. There's some cush jobs. And the longer you're there, you get to know where the openings are. You get to know people working that department, and they'll get you in. Just like it's not always what you know, it's who you know. But if you don't say anything, and you might get thrown into landscaping with these guys here behind me, depending on what prison camp you go to. I know if you go to Lompoc, they got a farm, and you're going to be picking fruit like the immigrant workers. You're going to be out there on the fields all day long in Lompoc. So be careful. Sheridan has a farm too up in Oregon, and so you're going to be doing farm work, and it's hard, and it's hot, and it's sweaty, and it's labor. If you're lucky, you want to be washing dishes inside the chow hall. It's nice and air conditioned and all that. There's all kinds of different jobs. Some are cakewalk and some aren't. Um, but even the hardest job, there's guys that are grateful to have them. Guys behind me doing this, there was guys that did landscaping. I did a video with my buddy Chris, New Beginnings or something. I think I did 2 videos with him, and he just turned 70 years old. Well, he was 65, 66, 67 doing landscaping. Why the guy I did my time with, and he loved it, man. He was out there all day long, and they give him power tools and everything else, and no guards around, and he felt free. And you know, he's out there working, you know, right next to the road, and he loved that. And he's over 65 years old. He wanted to work. So guys, get off your ass, go to prison, get a job, come home, make some videos. I don't know. And now I'm talking stupid. So once again, thank you guys. I hope this video answers some questions for some people. Appreciate all your calls. I got calls today. I want to say thank you. Let me look on my phone. Tell you who called me this morning. I think I talked to 4 people. I got Darren. He's hoping he gets. Well, he got a year and a day. Talked to Darren. Talked to Clint. Talked to a lady named Deborah. Rami. Brian. I wrote 6 months now for some reason. Carl Muncie. All you guys I talked to the last couple of days. So Chris from Alabama got a year and a day. Otis from Florida. Otis did a video with me, but I'm not putting it out until he gets sentenced, which is in about 3 weeks. Audrey, she's looking at some time. Alexander, all you guys. John from Romania. Yeah, all you guys, I want to say thanks for all the calls and everything. And I got links underneath my description, how to get an RDAP, help with your character reference letter to the judge, help with your personal narrative, how to send email to the prison, how to set up a Google voicemail so you don't have to pay as much money for the phone calls, how to send things to the prison, all kinds of good stuff. There's organizations down there, wholehearted.org, Wings for Life. They help felons while they're coming out of prison while you're in there. Fairshake.net's another one. It's got a lot of re-entry resources, all kinds of free stuff down there, man. You don't have to go hire a prison consultant. Just look in there, sentencing guideline help and custody level help, all kinds of free stuff in the links. Subscribe, like the video. Friday, I'm going live at 4 o'clock California time, guys. Hope to see you then. Thanks.